Hi guys, welcome back to episode number 27. Today it's really special because it's just me and Luis again. It is the third episode, actually the second full episode where we talk together. And we're live together in Murcia because I just moved here. I started a master's degree in high performance sports, and it's the same you did already like 4 years ago. And today you got your
My
paper, your diploma.
Finally.
So yeah, it's a special connection as always that we have, the two of us. And what about master degree? Why you chose that? And yeah,
Hello everyone. Obviously, very glad to be here with Mike today. Just drove from Valencia, just to see these guys to record my diploma, and then so we can record also these podcasts for you guys. But yeah, the master's degree that Mike is about to, well, he's already started. So it was obviously, it was probably like a very interesting and very it was challenging at the same time a little bit, but it was a great thing to do for me, just for my studies and basically for my experience, and to build um um basically a baseline. We kind of start from high performance, right, and to give me some knowledge and research papers, and because that's what I really enjoyed about these master's degree, right, because it was very based on um, studies, research. There's a lot of like papers that UCAM and then Pedro and then Thomas, and they basically
like great professors here that
yeah,
really help you to
right, they publish a bunch of papers every year, so they're up to date. They know what's up. And obviously, I was really pumped to start that.
Yeah. So even if we already worked in a professional environment, both in basketball, for example, I decided to step back a little bit and focus again on my improvements and my self growth and how we remember
Salud.
Salud.
Salud en España.
And so focusing again on the master degree because it's something that I missed, that I wanted to finish that. I mean, my academic career abroad, and I found that this was really valuable. And as you said, about the professors, about what they teach, about the most of all, like the courses that you can take, the internship opportunities, and then the work opportunities that you could have once you're done. And what else? So,
Well, I have some questions for you about the master's degree. So, I know you already know which subject you're gonna take and you're gonna study the master's degree. Which ones do you think are the most, interesting for you, or were you more motivated for in the master's degree?
even if I know which are my weaknesses, so that's why I'm here because I really want to.
Because you're weak.
No, I'm not weak in the gym, but I can destroy her.
I know that. I know.
Uh,
Might
but
bother me, but I can't beat him on the race for sure.
on the track neither. So yeah, because I did the bachelor in Italy, and I was not happy about that. Now I realized that I lacked, for example, research methodology. That is not like a mountain to overcome for me, but still is a new area, and that's really useful whenever you want to be not only a researcher but even just a practitioner that is up to date with what's happening in the
Okay.
science world. And biomechanics, of course, is really something important that I can for sure learn more. And physiology. So basically, these three, I'm looking forward to those, even if I can say I'm excited, like
Okay.
when we're gonna hang out tonight, like
Right.
yeah.
That's my next question. That's my next question. So you've been here already 10 days, right? In Spain, Murcia. You already know a little bit of the area, a little bit. You've been you bought a bike, so he's been cycling around.
Active, moving,
Right.
as always.
So what do you think? What are your first thoughts about the area, and like what do you think about Spain?
Not Spain.
I know, and everybody does, man. Everybody does.
What I like from this area, besides the weather, that is like much warmer than Italy or Germany or Finland. Yeah, people are pretty nice. They treat you pretty well. And in my class, we are 25 students from different countries, and we have like 13 different countries. So United States, India, China, Ireland, Belgium, Finland, Italy, Spain, what else? A lot of other different countries. So that's really broad, and we
That's insane.
being able to deal with different professionals or students from different countries with different perspectives is something so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
what else? So we want to talk a little bit about because nowadays we are doing more personal training because we're out. We are not working like
Professional sports, yeah.
professional sports, and but it's something really important, and we realized when we worked like with the top level athletes that you gotta know how to regress and progress with certain movements, and that's something that you can probably learn whenever you have to deal with older people and people with like not so high skills compared to athletes. Most of all, when we talk about injury reduction, I mean,
Injury prevention,
reduction and even return to play.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's they have some similarities, right? They obviously they share some things in common, but I think they're different, right? When you're dealing with like a PT, like a normal person like us, right? Or not a professional athlete, um is different. It's different. The approach that you have to take, and then obviously the treatment that you have to have with the player, with the person. Uh, Everything, I would say, there's some similarities that we might talk about later, but man, professional sports, you got maybe 12 athletes in charge, right? Pretty much you already know what's going on, and then what your goals from 2 weeks, or what your games in the next 2 3 weeks. You kind of know your schedule. Obviously, everything's going to change really fast because you might have an injury next day. They might roll an ankle. They might, the coach tells you, oh, they look a little fatigued. So can you just drag this down, the intensity, the volume, stuff like that. So it's very dynamic. Everything is pretty, changes all the time. Maybe when you go with PTs, and then with it's overall health people that just want to train with you just for health, or just to run a 10K, or they want to lose some weight. Um, it's just different. I think they're way easier on you. I think they don't you don't I feel you don't feel that pressure that you feel in professional sports. I'm not saying that you have to treat them differently, of course not, but I'm just saying here's the plan. Um, Obviously, you need to give them credibility about who you are and why you're doing this, and obviously the whys, right? The why you putting me in this program, and then stuff like that. But I mean, they can stick with it. I think a little easier.
We can say that some clients from general population or just workers in other fields that are not doing professionally any sport, sometimes they pay you because they want to see some fatigue. And I'm not saying that they want to be destroyed and have DOMs right after a session, but still you
wanna
can
feel the burden.
have more variety, and you don't have to stick specifically with a program, and they don't have to be available on the weekend for the game. Of course, if you make them so destroyed that they're not gonna able to be at work, standing up or whatever they have to do, it's a problem. But yeah, it's a different approach. But I brought up this topic because I found really helpful when I worked with like 60, 65 years old, and so like different age
Yeah, of
groups,
course. Yeah.
professional sports. They usually goes from 18 to 35 or
Right.
28. Because I had to deal with a return to play or rehab with some players that were not able to jog and to do any dynamic movement. So we had to start from basics. I had to make them feel comfortable with doing uh, body weight stuff, isometrics, some good bridges, or can be like wall sits and so on. I still remember this guy, a Czech guy, 2 or 3 years ago in Germany, and he wasn't able to do anything because of knee tendinopathy and shin splints and ankle sprains. So he was really even, afraid of everything because as soon as he moved a little bit more, he was completely stopped for other weeks. And even if the doctors said you're not gonna be able to do anything, just do some core and upper body. I said, trust me, we're gonna do this light stuff. We progress slowly, and there were basically things for older, like I don't know, 70 years old man. Okay,
Yeah.
so but you have to start from that point.
For sure.
Really basic stuff, and then we progressed, and then he felt more comfortable. At the beginning, he was afraid of doing a single leg deadlift, so balancing on one leg to be with a dumbbell. And at the end of that progression, so after some months, he was able to do 3 reps with 110 kilos on a barbell, the single leg deadlift.
That's huge, bro.
Drastically
That
changed
is-
his athleticism and his
Right.
confidence. And he was able to play in almost every game. And I find useful personal training because you have to deal with one individual, and you most of all, if they're older, if they have some issues, you have to find solutions. That's where creativity can come in.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's a good point, actually. I was about to talk about that. So, because in professional sports, you pretty much know, I'm not saying you know everything or whatever, but you know what you have to do with the players, and it's like it's not a small circle, but you have a medium circle of exercises, medium stuff what you can do with the players that you already know. But with the PT, with just normal people, they might just come with different things that you might not heard of, or you know what I mean, or they got a pain in the adductor that comes from building the lower back or stuff like that. Then you have to start thinking about things out of the box, right? That you haven't thought about yet. So, or you studied before, you read some paper, but now, oh, this person comes in with this type of injury, and then, oh shit, right?
You have to think outside the box of outside research because we do research, we study, we try to be the best, even theoretically,
Right.
theory wise. But then, if you want to be a practitioner, you need to have experience and jump in and
For sure.
adjust along the way. And that's something that you're only coaching and be there on the field and training yourself. It's something that I really
Very important.
value a lot.
Very valuable.
I mean, we don't just train not to be jacked, of course. We like it somehow, okay?
Yeah. Well, it's
But
always good to look.
We love training, but still, what I feel is that every time you train and you find different movements and you try to broaden a little bit your motor skills,
Right.
then you're gonna learn stuff that you can translate and implement with your athletes, with your clients.
Yeah, I always say if you wanna do something with your athlete, you wanna give him a new exercise or give new routine, just try yourself first. Try it out. Obviously, if you're like if you're giving a marathon runner, oh yeah, you can run like 12K or 13K or different. Okay, you might need to do that, right? But if you doing specific exercises just for the gym or strength training or any plyometrics or power emphasis or stuff like that, well, you better train that first, see how that feels, what things you can tweak or change, like, because just be ready. Because that athlete or that person is gonna say, oh, when I do these hurts, or when I do these doesn't feel right in this part of my body, or you're gonna pretty much received. You can't imagine what you're gonna receive from the feedback from the athlete. So you gotta be open to.
Yeah, and if you value yourself, as you said, gonna be a game changer because you already know what could be the path to solve the problem, or at least feel better and go to a healthier state. And I found personally myself much more useful than. I'm not saying that anatomy is not useful. You need to know that, of course, but you need to have the tools, direct tools, to be able to get away from that situation.
For sure.
And personal practice is always good. And what else? We have right here behind us a great T-shirt. Shout out to Weather Nation.
Shout out, man.
Yeah.
I know you, but I think you're good.
Yeah, he's playing. He's really. He jumps like crazy.
I believe so.
Yeah, and originally from Tampa, Florida,
Okay.
and he's playing now in Patagonia, Argentina.
Oh wow.
And yeah, basically, I wanted to talk a little bit about him because he was the veteran in my team a couple of years ago in Germany. And yeah, we worked pretty well. I enjoyed working with him. He was a high level athlete. He played in NCAA and like professional in Ireland. And working with him was easy. You know, it's much easier than other people. But with those type of athletes, the difficult part is to make them go on the right path and understanding them because sometimes they can be older than you or more experienced because they saw different strength coaches, they play basketball personally. I mean, we are there just to help them. After a while, we of course have knowledge. We are really prepared, but after all, we have to support them. Like, what do you think about this?
Yeah, you cannot be. Well, obviously, there's probably some coaches that are listening to us right now. They're very very straightforward, right? It's my way. This is how we're gonna do things. Um, and that might work. That might players they might like that too. You know, they whatever they get out of the way and okay, this is what we're doing. That's it. Uh, Personally, I like to be more. Yes, every one of us we have our way of training, right? Different styles. But when you're dealing with different experienced players from different ages and stuff like that, then you have to, be yourself open to, well, how can I treat this player? How can I listen to what he has to say about his previous experiences in different teams, different strength coaches, different head coaches. So you kind of basically adjust your program, your style to their style, and then just make a mix. But it's just tough. Sometimes it's just tough. There has to be communication, but even when you have the communication, sometimes it's tricky. Sometimes it's not that easy. But
Um, it was easy with that guy, so I was lucky.
yeah, you're lucky,
He,
man.
he just said, whatever you want Mike to me to do, let's just do it. But he didn't follow exactly like the things around training. So yeah, hopefully now he's recovering better and having a better nutrition. But I think he's doing so because he's playing well. He's healthy. But what I want to say is that usually what you do whenever you get to know a player, so you have, for example, I had some video calls with them. It can be even brief. I was in Italy, they were abroad, and we had video calls, and I just asked some questions like about injury background and how like where they were from, and even some, though well, was not a psychology questionnaire, but like,
How's your
these are the values. No, do you have a girlfriend? I was asking even that one, it's important.
It is important. It is important. Yeah, you got kids. Yeah, okay.
You need to have a balance in your life as
No,
well.
I mean, yeah, we need to know. As strength coaches, we need to know that.
Yeah. And because sometimes they walk in and they're pissed off and frustrated. We could be as well, but maybe we are just better at controlling our emotions. I don't know. But life matters. And, so even asking those things, I think it's something serious because you have to deal with them 4 hours or if you go away for games, even more hours. Yeah. And yeah, so basically, I asked a lot of things, even exercise preferences, besides injury background, and then how they were used to do things, and so on. Most of the times, I didn't have like any uh, things that they wanted to keep doing, and they were more open, to follow my way if I had a way. Right. As always, you need to be flexible with your plan and be able to adjust. Right there whenever you're on the field or whenever you're in the gym. So
yeah, similar to me, I would say pretty much the same. I don't think I have a video. I didn't have a video call before, but I like to in the first week maybe just take one per one on one player. The first practice, and then I take two players, three players, then speak with them 15, 20 minutes, right? after practice, and then you obviously you take notes about all these type of questions. I ask just the same as Mike, and also what you don't like to do. Do you like to work the upper body during you like to do any stuff before the games? Any type of information that might be helpful for them and for you as well. So, um, but I think you have to have that conversation. And then when we talk about wives and kids and girlfriends, you said many of our players they come to practice, they might not come mad or angry. They don't have energy or everything hurts today or what I mean they feel sleepy. And that's when it comes to I was doing some reports keeping records of like sleeping, hydration, type of food, like things like that, that might help tracking all these little details that they might actually, oh, today I had this player that, you know, he missed 4 free throws at practice. He usually doesn't miss, or I saw him a little sleepy at the beginning. It took a little while to warm up, whatever. Those little signs that you need to really take care of when you are in the game. Pretty much you can't like there's not time off. Like you get on practice. Maybe it's not your time. You already did the warm up. You already did your things. But now you have to like okay, call this player for 5 minutes. 3 players. How she's moving. How what you know what I mean? So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and it's really important to keep track of data and how they recover, what's the sleep quality, and so on. But still, even like other more experienced coaches, they say that we have to take that into account. What we can change something right after we consider those, because sometimes a player can even sleep 4 hours but can perform
Right.
at the highest level and score
Yeah.
30 points, and so then you see that sometimes
Right.
that doesn't matter,
I know.
and that can happen. And
Well, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say that you're totally right. Sometimes you can't change that. Happens. Great. Okay, good for you. Great performance. But I think it's better to have that stuff controlled.
Yeah.
In case someday something happens, right?
And research tells us that
Right.
sleeping,
Right.
sleep quality, and having a good amount of sleep can help you, with
Performance-wise,
So yeah,
It's also it's all with the brain, decision making stuff like that.
and being able to throw the free throws at the
Yeah.
39th minute. So
Exactly. So everything counts. The more you go in professional sports, the more every detail. But
and
with some players, they just don't care.
yeah, and some players, I still remember when we talked about values and like habits that they have. For example, okay, discipline, hard work. That for me is not like a value, but still it's like a behavior.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, hard work and maybe being accountable, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
and then I saw them going playing PlayStation until 1 or 2 in the morning, and then coming to the gym sleepy and then grumpy and so on. So there's a lot of work to do, and most of the time it's just about like being there
Okay.
as like
Yeah.
not a teacher but an educator, somebody
Right.
that can help and can give some tips and make them understand how to deal with routines and life. So
Right.
habits that can make you be a better athlete and healthier.
I totally agree, man. Yeah, what you said about PlayStation, what can you do about it? It's their life. It's whatever they can do whatever they want at home. It's just basically your task, your homework as a coach is just communicating what's best for them, right? Um, I say, X, Y, Z player, the name. Well, this is what this is why this is better for you. I recommend these specifically for you because of this. And then the player now decides, right, what he wants to do. If he's more, open to different strategies and stuff like, he might do it. He might be more, he's more experienced. He knows his body, or he just basically he doesn't really care about you. And then he will do their own thing. Which I have players do that. I have players, really very nice players that will listen to you. But it just really doesn't matter. Just your job is your job. Communicate, coach. And at the end of the day, if you win, right? If you lose your app. So that's it.
What about nutrition? Because that's a great topic and is still underrated from players, not from like professionals in this field. But and for example, we want to bring in a great expert in nutrition, so we're gonna do that hopefully soon.
First.
But yeah, that's another great area. And us as strength conditioning coaches or athletic performance coaches, we need to be there, available, and provide some tips and make them understand what is better to have or not, and how to find a balance, and talk about macros and all the nutrients necessary to be able to be there and perform and recover. So
For sure.
and if we don't have a nutritionist in your team, that it's a pity, because at the highest level we should have one, I believe. But if you don't have it, of course we are in charge, like of for sure giving some tips, of course. How was your experience with in Indonesia with your team?
It was good. It was good. We didn't have a nutritionist in Indonesia. As maybe you guys haven't been in Indonesia, but Indonesia obviously the food industry, food culture is totally different from the Westerns, right? From Europe or US, even from Australia, right? So I'm not saying they eat better or worse, it's just very different. We had obviously imports from the US. They really took care of it. They were eating very, very healthy. But almost everyone had questions about nutrition, right? At some point they will come up to you and will say, "Hey, Luis, what should we do about after games? Or should I take any caffeine? Should we take what about like protein shakes? What should I take them? Is it necessary?"
That's a great moment when they ask you and they want to,
Of course, yeah, it's great. It feels great because that's your time to shine, to tell them, "Oh, well, this is what I know." I'm not saying you have to take it. I always say I'm a strength conditioning coach. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm gonna advise. I'm gonna tell you some things that I read, some things that I learned from research papers or just people that knew way more things than me. And you decide. I'm not gonna give you a specific nutrition base or whatever. I'm just gonna give you some advices or tips about different nutrition or supplements. But for example, before I go to you, in my team, we all read about collagen, vitamin C for tendon, adaptability and all that stuff to reduce a little pain or just make it a little stiffer for the games, and then to reduce a little swelling and pain. So obviously for my team, I basically advise them. I told the manager, "Can you buy some collagen and buy some vitamin C?" This is before the playoffs, so get all that stuff ready for the playoffs. Um, from the 12 players, maybe 8 were taking it. 7 to 8 players were taking collagen vitamin C 45 minutes before the games or any tendon type of activity or strength training. I was giving them collagen.
Where you got it from? PJF? I mean, the idea originally or not?
Oh, I don't know.
He's really big on that.
Really?
He really.
Well, there's some good research now about it. Gelatin and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the only really big thing that I did about nutrition with professional sports. That I'd really big advice about. Okay, manager, can you take these? I think it's very beneficial. I think it will impact. And then also caffeine. I'll take caffeine pills through KG McDaniels. He freaking loved that. I remember the season just started right now, like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, "Yo, Luis, just texting me like, where can I get those caffeine pills you gave me?" I'm like, those are from Spain. I can send it to you and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's my take there.
I implemented. So I wanted to get something to eat for them during the halftime, and I decided to buy some. To make the team buy some protein bars, and I think it was kind of useful because sometimes they eat. If you play, for example, at 6, they have lunch, but they forget to have a snack. And so if you have like that time span of 6 hours or 7 without having nothing in your body,
Right.
you're gonna feel the consequences after a while whenever you play, and you have to sustain your 1.5, 2 hours being right there.
Yeah. No, yeah, of course.
So yeah, we did that, and then whenever there were some specific guys that needed like nutrition intervention, I called my dad that has already been on the podcast, and probably all the people know.
Yeah, me too, my dad.
And he had pleasure to meet him as well.
I had a
So
pleasure.
he worked with us 3, 4 players, because whenever I see that somebody needs to be taken care of, and of course we need to call a professional, so I wanted to bring him in. And some guys, they changed their career. One guy lost basically 10 kilos because he was overweight, and then another guy, another guy basically had the sacroiliac joint that was always inflamed, and we didn't find the solution for that. We tried to do everything, like physically wise, but then I saw him eating, and he was eating really bad, like no veggies, no fruit, like really a lot of refined carbohydrates, and he didn't have any balance, and he basically was putting his body like in a inflammation state. And we talked with some doctors, and they realized that that was the problem. And yeah, I wanted to change even that, the nutrition. And when he changed that, basically he started to be healthy again. Before, he was able to play, maybe to practice only twice a week. And the previous season, I think he played only 10 to 15 games. And the season, I mean, after he changed his nutrition, he was able to play 5 games, and he was like practicing
That's
3
crazy.
times a week.
That's crazy.
And just changing nutrition. Okay, we did a lot of work behind that compensatory work,
Yeah.
working on core and so on, because his back was always hurting basically. We worked on strength,
Yeah.
in micro doses, almost everything. Physiotherapy, of course, but nutrition just made it.
Yeah, man. Big time nutrition now. See, let's say 60-70%. That's all about.
He was 18, and now he's playing in the first league in Germany. So,
Wow. Good for him, man. And good for you.
no, my dad
Well,
will work.
well-
I just, had the idea.
Right. Shout out to your dad.
Yeah.
Big mind in the game. Big mind in the game.
So,
Talent game.
what else? I mean, I love to deal with these athletes, because then you can be in touch and create great connections. And like you said, you talk with
Shout out to KJ McDaniels, right? If you're watching these podcasts, man, I really miss you, and I really appreciate your love to me and your kindness, pretty much. So
Yeah.
good luck.
That's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you stay in touch, and you're not always only a coach or educator that can help them, but then you can become a friend somehow.
Yeah,
And
we're human, right? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, right?
we're just there working together all the time. So
Trying to help people, man.
yeah, and for example, I had another veteran, old guy, Adam Toasby, last year, and we worked together a lot. And, I found out that he esteemed me indirectly, and I was like, wow. I was in that moment, I was overwhelmed. I was stressed because I had a lot of work, injured guys, and so on, and I thought I was not doing enough, to be honest. But then still, I got good feedback from his wife.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, his wife was talking to my dad, and I was wow. I mean, he's thinking that I'm doing a good job, and I didn't realize that. Now we're still in touch and connecting, and hopefully one day I'm gonna visit him in Australia. Let's see.
Yeah, good for sure.
But yeah, I mean, just after all, human connection, and it's not about having a positive feedback. Sometimes, I mean, critics and having
Constructive.
even constructive criticism is good. I like it. We need it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
We need to wake up sometimes. We need to wake up.
being yourself, being honest, and sometimes saying
Yeah,
truth, something that pays in the long term.
I
So
would say so.
and sometimes you can build connections. Sometimes you find similarities. You see that you're not a good fit. But if you have some great connections with players or colleagues, and like me and you, something unbelievable.
I know,
I will
man.
be always here talking about these things.
Well, they were nice to us. At the end of the day, guys, being nice is the best thing in the world, right? Just being nice to a person.
And being honest.
Being honest and yeah. Sometimes being honest is not being nice, which no, I mean, yeah, right. Just be honest and say
But it's good in the long run.
right. Exactly.
It's tough at the beginning, but
Right.
yeah.
So we're trying to help people. Just we're doing our jobs as best we can. We also do mistakes like everyone do. So, but we try to do least mistakes as possible in the long run.
Yes, like 2 days, I fell off the bike.
Oh, you told him.
First day of school, I was so hyped. I was.
So I told him your hand, right?
There's nothing.
He's a warrior, man.
I have something on the hip, but yeah, I'm back on track. I could do my engine.
Hey, Dad, Mom. I need some help here.
But yeah, I was so hyped. First day of school again at 29 years old, and I was riding back home, excited after my gym session, and yeah, and then I flew off the bike, but nothing happened. Yeah, just that. There was just a guy.
Bro, man, come on, man.
Yeah. I know.
Hold on, man. These guys
Skin can recover faster now.
man.
My skin can recover faster. I don't know what's going on. Like,
Skin,
can be
wow.
because of nutrition. I don't know. We should ask.
We should
Yeah.
ask right now, right? If you fell off the bike, how your skin recovers from a bike accident.
Okay.
I think
Anything else?
that was a good podcast, man.
Yeah.
Just straight to the point, little questions like that.
Yeah.
It was fun, man.
So next we're gonna talk with another great professional in this field in basketball. We are not saying any name now, but
We can't
we're
reveal
gonna-
any
yeah.
information,
It's
guys.
gonna come out soon, the episode, and then we have even a nutrition expert, and maybe Red Bull is gonna sponsor our show.
Maybe Red Bull, yeah, who knows? Red Bull, please. We need not only more cans of Red Bull, we need more sponsors. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't like Red Bull, but today Luis convinced me to drink one.
I brought Red Bull for Mike. I only drink Red Bull in special occasions today because I came to see Mike. It's a special occasion in my life.
Yeah.
So it's a good day. It's a good day. Today's a good day.
Okay, guys, thank you for listening. And please, if you like the show, subscribe, share it with people that you think will be interested in. Share it through WhatsApp, share it through Instagram, Facebook, whatever. You can find it on YouTube. And I think this is a good one to watch on YouTube because it's just live, me and you, being more real. And
We always dream, but you can see us right here, engaging one with
okay,
another. So
yeah. And that's it. So, hasta la vista.
hasta la vista, chicos y chicas. See you next time. Thank you for being there, guys. Appreciate it.